Let's continue talking about money matters, and it has to do with what former special prosecutor Martin Amidu has been saying. In fact, he has accused Mr. President of employing Machiavellian, that is, dishonest tactics in ensuring that his ministerial nominees were approved by the NDC members of Parliament on the Appointments Committee of Parliament. I'll give you maximum 2 minutes each to react before I break down certain salient points that he makes and accusations that he's leveled against the system and specifically the sitting president. I'll start with you, Mr. Suhuyini.
Well, I was fortunate to be on the Appointments Committee, and I find the suggestion curious because I saw nothing that one could link to, closely linked to even anything Machiavellian. I have said it on this platform, and I think on other platforms, that as a minority group, some of us feel very strongly about our inability to live up to civil society and public expectations as far as the president's nominees that appeared before the Appointment Committee is concerned. We feel very, very, disappointed that we could not live up to the public expectation, because the expectation was very high, especially after we managed as a minority group to snatch the, seat of speaker from our colleagues on the NPP side. The vetting process, I think, was one of the most watched in our history. People followed it diligently. And it's also because of the level of research and questions that, members of the Appointment Committee filed when nominees appeared before them. So generally, everything was going well, and it rose the expectation. And some of us thought that we should have been guided by that expectation in doing, the approvals. But to excuse maybe the Appointments Committee, I do know that it wasn't an easy, task deciding on who to fail and who not to fail, because it is a constitutional, it is guided by the Constitution, let me put it that way. Who qualifies to become a minister and who doesn't? It's a constitutional matter. It's about qualification to be a member of Parliament and all of that. Mm-hmm. And it is about the president nominating the person. Mm. So sometimes, it is very difficult to find very good grounds if the person does not go against the Constitution to stop the person from becoming a minister. But we still did our best by recommending at least 2 people for rejection. That was the Minister for Minister for Fisheries and the Agric Minister. And at that point, it was out of the hands of the committee members. It was out of the hands of the committee members. It was now for the whole House, the plenary, to decide the fate of these 2. In fact, there were 3. Yes, the Information Minister was part of it.
Fisheries and Agriculture.
And Agriculture. So though their fate, the committee did its work and recommended them for rejection. But in the plenary, a lot of things happen. And it is not unusual. I don't think it's Machiavellian. If you go to the UK Parliament, you have members cross-voting. So, it was as a result of even the cross-voting
right there, because
the NDC was
Machiavellianism, so to speak, that Martin Amidu speaks of, is not tied necessarily to the fact that these people, whether it went from the committee stage to the plenary where eventually some decisions had to be taken. Yeah. He is basically saying that you were muzzled in a way, you were limited in a way based on something that happened 2017, 2018. Basically, you had this issue with members of Parliament taking double salaries. He is creating a nexus, a linkage between the two. I want you to address that specifically. Are you saying there is no way that could have influenced the decision of your members? You are on the Appointments Committee, the NDC side on the Appointments Committee. Yes. Are you saying there was no way that it didn't influence it?
First of all, I was not in government before 2016. Mm-hmm. And the people, and I wasn't in Parliament also. I was just a media practitioner like yourself then. the people on the committee who I know were in government, in no way, not at any discussion, mentioned their limitations and included the issue of double salary. In fact, what I do know in conversations with some of them is that the state owes some of them after the reconciliations were done. So it was never an issue that came out throughout our consideration to vet nominees or to approve or reject nominees. The issue of government prosecuting people or, you know, investigating them over double salaries, not even once did it ever feature in our consideration as members of the appointments committee and even as members of the minority group. I've
heard Inusaf Hussaini say that it is too far-fetched, that there couldn't possibly be a linkage. You agree with him then?
Absolutely, because based on what I know,
right?
Like I'm saying, I mean, there's no way I could have been part of it. So there's no way it could have been used to.
Is it that maybe you don't know that maybe certain powers, because your own minority leader, Haruna Iddrisu, he's received a bashing.
Yeah.
You know, even your party's mouthpiece, Sami James, gave him a timeline. you get it, on some of the happenings within the appointments setup. So it could be. And
I am telling you,
do not know.
And I'm telling you from inside, as an insider, that throughout our consideration, as appointment committee members or as members of the minority group, at no point was the issue of double salary a matter for discussion.
Okay.
It had always been about the Constitution and maybe some other considerations why people should be approved or not approved.
Okay.
But never did it ever feature in any of our conversations.
Mr. Amoah, there is a damning verdict, and I just want to chip in this bit before you give your answer, from former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu. And this is what he alleges on this bit about double salaries. He says, President Akufo-Addo determines criminal prosecutions, not the Attorney General. President Akufo-Addo determines, and these are the words of Martin Amidu, not mine. President Akufo-Addo determines criminal prosecutions, not Attorney General. To back what he says about the fact that there was a, you scratch my back, I scratch your situation. How do you respond?
I think I will send my regards to our constituents that is in Sheso. Number one in Ghana anyway. I love them, they are great people. But then it is very interesting. I always say that Ghana, if we all don't change, we should forget. Not until deep in our heart, out of our instinct, we exhibit godliness to the level that any statement, any perception, any inferences, any analysis one makes, not necessarily wrong or right, but it's from a very genuine, clear heart. The problem we have is that almost all statements and comments come with some sort of underlying interest, parochial interest.
You feel Martin has an interest in here?
You think if Martin Amidu had not gotten...
He's merely been responding to what the AG has said.
If Martin Amidu had not gotten this issue with where he was sent to, are you sure, let's be honest with God and man, this issue about double salary thing came even before my senior came to Parliament. They just had the appointment exercise just recently, over 4 or 5 years now. So since when Martin Amidu realized this? Since when? And two,
but it came to the fore. It came to the fore in the past administration. I mean, from 2016.
I'm being honest with you. This is my opinion. Nana Addo Dankwa as a president might have been known better than me by other people. I don't know, but I think I've spent so much time with him for a long time because of politics. He has his fault. He's not an angel, but trust me, Machiavellian and corruption and those things are not part of his vocabulary. You can condemn, you can say whatever from a distance, but any honest person that even hates the man, the president to the core, will tell you that he personally can never be corrupt. So I think what Martin Amidu is saying is neither here nor there. Let's ask ourselves, when we were choosing a speaker, and we had at least 2 people either voting for NDC, minority side, or one decided not to, or even spoil the ballot. And they had Honorable Babin. What happened? That one, they didn't collect bribe.
Maybe we did the Machiavellian on your side.
Exactly.
Maybe you were the Machiavellian one.
So MPP supporters, some of them started accusing some of our people, naming some, even some of our MPs were naming some other MPs. Then we went for appointment. So other people were having prejudicial position that at all costs, the appointing committee should have disqualified somebody. How can you sit down in your country and have a prejudicial position that could have crippled the forward movement and the performance of the republic simply because of politics? And because they went through or they
For some people, they'll tell you they've not even voted. It's not about politics. It's just that they felt those ministers did not meet. There are people like that who came to tell you that no, we feel the finance minister, for example, he should answer X, Y, Z, and all of that before he does it. I'm just saying that there were people who came not from political perspective.
You know, one problem in Ghana to have noticed, we define expectation in a very close, tight bracket that is like expectation is 1, so you should be 1. Expectation means mean, average. This is what you expect. And when you expect something, you consider variability in terms of, oh, I expect that this thing happen, but it's close or not. That is why you talk about performance deficit, not necessarily what you have achieved. The fact that you expect A and B does not mean or represent the fact that one is supposed to make a decision out of. We are not having marking scheme. Then they should come with the marking scheme. That for the appointing processes and exercises, these are the marking schemes. And if you check the marking scheme, the man should have been given 1, he was given 4.
Do you feel then that there's a problem? There's a problem with how we're approaching the appointment situation now? Should it be looked at?
It depends. I'm coming. The expectation you're talking about, my brother can have different expectation. Expectation of color red. I can have expectation of color blue. You can have expectation of secondary color or primary. So if you're talking about expectation, then we are not having one expectation in Ghana. We cannot have a defined point of convergence when it comes to expectation because we all have different perceptions. The fact of the matter is that whether in this MPP, most of the people approach issues with parochial and political interest, not national interest. Because if Martin Amidu had been at post and be enjoying his largesse, I'm sure Martin would have said this. Let's be honest. And this is what...
So you're suggesting that if Martin Amidu were at post doing what he was doing, he resigned, by the way, you're saying that he wouldn't be coming out to say these things.
So let me ask you, this double salary thing came before 20... Is it 20?
That's 2017.
2017, actually.
Far before, am I lying?
But that was still in the very past.
So why didn't he talk about it?
He was working on it.
Working?
Yes.
So he brought the documentation.
That is why the AG now is saying that he failed to deliver on that. And he is now responding saying that I did not fail to deliver on that. It is because there were certain powers that were pushing, shoving.
So the way Martin Amidu himself, with all respect, should be condemned. If a man with full of tenacity and leverage, and he talks like he's not afraid of anything, he can never be controlled by cowardice, could be coerced to do a wrong thing against the state, for us to lose money, I think he has to even be taken to court.
He himself should answer questions.
Exactly. If the way he's behaving, even when NDC gave him one of the topmost positions in Ghana, he was so fearless, and he was so confident and bold.
As Attorney General.
He exercised his stewardship with that kind of bravery that everybody was lauding him. So this small issue, he could be coerced and compelled not to do the right. Please, I am begging all Ghanaians, including me, it is time we moved away from these things. And now it's about Ghana. If you think you can't do that, don't do politics. Very soon, we've all made mistakes before. But very soon, even if my mother makes mistakes, I'll come out and speak. That's why I'm telling everyone, if you like, kill me. Whether you're my party man, you're not my party man, whether you hold position A or B, if I see anything with evidence, I've spoken to my God. I will come out. I will speak. I should be killed.
Okay.
We need to change this country, boss. We can't sit there and let people suffer like that. From Adenta to Medina to Rage. Go and check increasing barefooter case on the road. We should start having feeling and emotion for this.
Increasing what?
Barefooter kids.
Oh, right.
On the road. Do we have solutions to them? They are increasing from about 30 years up to today. We don't seem to have a clue. We can't sit down and say we are leaders and politicians and activists and only champion causes that will serve our personal utilities and satisfaction. Me, I've changed. Henceforth, people will insult me. They will do. I don't even care. They can even kill me. If I see any problem, I will not defend MPP or NDCC. I will speak the truth.
Okay.
And let's all begin this war. It's not war to fix something for somebody to become president or to lose power, but war to fix a problem that will provide the needed utility that will change this country. This is what we are looking out for.
All right.
I think Matiamidu is speaking out of hate and then some sort of hate and maybe his personal disappointment and stuff like that, because so far as I'm concerned, these guys have not taken money from us. Do you know the hell of time they give us on the floor? Ask him.
Okay, point well made, and I see you're getting very passionate about it, and understandable. But Mr. Suhuyini, Honorable Suhuyini, let's do this very briefly. We have to move on to other matters as well. I just want us to look at this. Yes or no, if possible, from both of you. Is it possible? Is it possible for the executive, the president especially, to influence the legislative body when it comes to appointments? Is it possible? Have you ever seen it happen? Is it possible?
Well, based on how Parliament works, and you see, I just wanted to make a quick comment maybe before
Please make it very brief.
Issue. My brother, when he was speaking, reminded me of my position on Mr. Martin Amidu when we vetted him. Maybe it will be interesting for you to find my piece on the reason why I opposed him after the vetting process. Some of the things that he is saying were my assessment of Mr. Martin Amidu, and
you can just refresh our memories very, very quickly.
You see,
for
example, I said that based on my assessment of him at the appointment committee and outside the appointment committee, I think he is driven more by emotion rather than facts.
Okay.
And so my brother says he's hurt, but now who caused him? They created that monster, so I will just hope that they survive, and please, again.
How can this be
I think he's referring to the fact that he was put in that office in that capacity.
But he was given Attorney General's position before us.
Please.
Exactly.
And let me make this point. And we are speaking English, and my use of monster is an English term. No, I have seen it happen in the media severally. You speak figuratively, and later when you see the headlines and the suggestions, you wonder if people really went to school and learned the language. But that's the point. So I wish them well. But on the issue of
the possibility.
But
it is possible.
I mean, idiomatic expression anyway. So
that's why I said.
That's why it's good to explain.
It's a common figure. It's a common figurative.
It doesn't have any grammatical interpretation apart from what we all know.
Right.
So, yes, looking at our system and how it operates, the executive presidency system that we operate, the president has a lot of powers. And yes, to your question, it is possible that the president can influence some of the decisions that come out of committees of parliament and even parliament itself.
But has he?
It is possible.
It is possible.
But I have spoken to you as an insider who worked with the appointment committee, and I can tell you for a fact that whatever happened, that led to the disappointment, and I regret that disappointment. I continue to say, I regret that we couldn't live up to the expectation of civil society and Ghanaians. But what led to that, I think, had nothing whatsoever to do with manipulations from the executive.
Thank you.
I have said that it was as a result of disagreements, especially amongst us, committee members, appointment committee members, and amongst us as minority group.
Okay.
And we have worked on that, and fortunately for us in this country, I believe that in this session and subsequent sessions, the Ghanaian people are going to see a more focused minority group.
Just in about a minute. Is it possible? He says it is.
It is possible, but I think we should come out with a further question. Has he or has any president?
But if there is a possibility, then yes, it could happen.
It could. What is not possible under the sun? What is not, let's be honest, what is not possible?
Right.
But I know, I know that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will not do that. I know. I know.
I think it suffices what you
he's
said.
Not that type.